and I think that's a very, very important takeaway. I also agree with you that it is a very important.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. So, obviously, last Wednesday, wasn't it? The immigration pact was supposed to pass. It is going to pass tonight. I don't think, unless the government object to it tonight. I don't think they will, because all legal challenges at the moment. Two challenges to the immigration pact to say to bring it to the public. Both of them have been defeated in the High Court. What I mean by defeated, the judge basically threw it out. Again, Judge Nolan. It's Judge Nolan again. So, what do you expect? So, what do you expect with Judge Nolan's was? We'll give it a few minutes. I presume it says the vote now at 6:12. We see. Does anybody stand up and say no, Willie O'Deed or any of them? Because it should be brought to the public. Again, the judges in this country are just the most evil people imaginable. But the sad reality is, it probably is going to pass today. There's nothing really to stop it, to be totally honest. So,
for a long term of time, that we would have specialists that were trained in the field that could do 10 hours a week or 11 hours a week, which wouldn't impact.
So I suppose we just talk about this. So there was 2 high court injunctions sought to try and see immigration back going through the Dáil and the Shannon. Now one was by an independent person from Michelle Keaton from Kerry, that direction. She ran in the local elections in Kerry. And then there was a barrister, what they call it? I can never, Ula, isn't it? Ula McCargan, isn't it? Something like that. But both injunctions failed. As you say, Judge Nolan, the fellow who lets literally paedophiles off. I think it's the same fellow, must be. Dismissed the application. So he basically just said, no, don't kill. That's pretty much what he said. Don't kill. Couldn't kill. Don't really kill. And that's about it. There's nothing really to stop it now, I presume. Because they basically have said they don't care, the judges. Yeah, no bother, Fiona, no bother. Hello, Sean. So yeah, the EU migration for the House is the walk with the Dáil tonight. It should be anyway, unless they change their mind. But as it says here, I think, am I showing the screen? I am. As I say, the judge dismissed it. So whatever chance of it being legally challenged before it goes to the Dáil, it's been dismissed and just thrown away. And the same with the other one. There was 2 motions, and the 2 of them have been basically. The other one, they used an excuse for the other one, I say, because they said it wasn't properly filed. But I don't know why it's like a barrister, because the other one was a barrister. I don't know how a barrister would, file something wrong. I presume they're just making up excuses just so they don't have to do anything. Because it's just, Judge Nolan. I presume this is the same fucker that lets these child abusers off. Again, these judges are crooks. But that's the problem. And he asked me to raise it here. He was almost killed. No backup. He was the only guard on duty out on patrol in the Cavan district when he got that call. One of the state. This is a shocking situation, and it's happening on a daily basis, hourly basis. But it's not really stop it. There should be voting. It says on the door record, on the record of the door, that it says that 6:17 or something like that is supposed to be, but it's near 6. It's after 6 o'clock now. I don't know. They're talking about the offences against the State Act. The offence against the State Act obviously needs to be brought in every year. The voted through every year, every 12 months. It has to be reintroduced. So that's what they're talking about at the moment. The offences against the State Act for terrorism and stuff like that. Neo, you can what? Oh, the OIC. Control center I name as well. They saw on the computer in front of them who they were dealing with, what kind of individual they were dealing with, and send their own guarantee out to that situation. It's intolerable, unacceptable, disgraceful by you and by the Garda authorities. And it's happening night and day, 24/7. All over, and we keep releasing it here. You're quoting out how many are coming into Tippermore. You told me last week, I think, 220 expected. I'm told it'll be looking at 120. So give over the game, please. And the show-offs from Dublin and the big supports out in the country where we need the guarantee. They're doing their best, and it's much support to 99% of the guarantee. And
that kind of thing. He's a wife and
I will see the reason why nobody wants to join in Garda Síochána, and everybody doesn't address this. But you've seen what happened in Clonmel. You've seen in many instances what Garda Síochána have done.
So these dangerous individuals have been dealt with, but they expect the guard to go out on his own. All the female guards on the road are doing. I spoke to them. Patrol cars at 3 o'clock in the morning with nobody with them and no backup, and no one to no backup. An area from Arrington to Borlachen, Finnecare, towns of Clare, Castle, 2 tourist towns. One guard on duty. I hate having to be this in here tonight, but I have to. And it's time minister Joe took responsibility and actually support that guard and his colleagues. Come on, good.
Thank you very much. First of all, Minister, when it comes to issues like this, and I don't like to be negative, but I have to remind you that when I'm Garda Síochána, we're looking to government for support, and when the Commissioner wanted support, you sided with one man rather than siding with our Gardaí. And that didn't sit well.
That's another thing too. Like Drew Howard shouldn't be there. He shouldn't have been there.
Up and down the length of this country. Because the one thing I'd say.
But again, the Gardaí in this country is just the OIC. We've seen it time and time again. They're just a different uniform, basically. A different uniform. Instead of the British Crown never left. Hello, Gordon. Like they never left the OIC.
When they were turning around and saying, "Well, we want help and we want support," unfortunately, they didn't get it from government buildings. They didn't get it from yourself, and they were left on their own. But I'm very grateful to people like the GRA, the Great Association, which you wouldn't go to this year. You would not go to their conference, again, because you said it might upset one man, one individual.
One man.
But at the same time, you didn't care about the 13,000 members of Garda Síochána, their wives, their families, or any one of them. You sided with one man, rather than going to a conference to listen to what Garda Síochána had to say. And that was very hurtful. And I tell you out straight, it was hurtful. And it will be remembered for a long, long time, because in life, when you're a minister, you're supposed to serve the people that are working with you and for you. And I believe our Gardaí are working very well for all of us. But when they wanted political
Give me a second, though. No, that's it, sorry.
From you or indeed
I think they're going to start now, because it must be... Yeah, unless they're going to... Because there should be soon. Because it says in the Dáil record there should be.
I think it is absolutely farcical that we're forced to debate and extend these acts year after year. It undermines the House and it undermines our justice system to keep working off emergency legislation.
Well, give me 2 seconds to juice up and then they might try and delay it as much as possible tonight. Because they know, because I think I read something online that they're getting so many emails and letters, like more emails than anything and phone calls. And I think they're just all sick of it. The people are winging in and saying you should vote against it. Even though all the TDs there should vote against it, but none of them feeling Fine Gael won't do it. But they're sick of people winging in and giving out to them about it. So they probably just want to do it on the quiet. See, so that's what they're going to try and drag it out as long as possible, I say. Because they don't want people to pay attention. Anyway, here 2 seconds. Hello again, sorry about that. See, this is not really the mainstream. The mainstream will be tomorrow, just to say. Like the main thing we were just kind of doing tonight is the EU migration pact, basically. There's not really else. Like there's a lot more things at the top, but tomorrow, of course, there's a lot.
Such as the impossibility of researching or interrogating assertions made by some stakeholders, especially those assertions that were not supported by testable data or empirical evidence. And I would like to echo the Minority Report's concerns that a review group appointed by the Minister for Justice could not be facilitated sufficiently by relevant agencies. That's very worrying. It calls into question the findings of the independent review group, as it is clear that they were not given the necessary and relevant information required to such important recommendations. The inability to access reliable and verifiable information when reviewing such important legislation.
So yeah, did anybody see the video we put out in the Helsinki things? There'll be more to come, but they're obviously going to take time to put it all through. But we hope to have another than part 2 out next week. Obviously, it's going to be a good few parts. I say there'll probably be nearly 7 or 8 parts, to be totally honest. But we hope to have part 2 out next week. But part 1 is out. It's about 19 minutes long, so have a look at it if you can at some stage. Because it is a lot of tricking about, and I do have to take Davey too for he's doing all the leg work here on it. But I'm very thankful for helping us out with it.
Agreeing to the renewal of this legislation, and as my colleague has said, I think it's an insult to democracy.
Yeah, there's a lot of insult to democracy nowadays. It's not just this; it's everything needed to go from the past nowadays. It's insulting.
To examine this legislation and see what it's based on and the need for it. And so I relied on what the government did, and they set up an independent review, and I've taken the trouble of reading the majority and the minority report. Both are in agreement that this legislation should not be renewed. It should be absolutely repealed. Some of it brought back, others not. And where the two reports differed substantially was in relation to the majority report recommending a special criminal court on a full-time basis, and the minority, and I fully support them, agree with that. And what the minority report attempted to do is to give an alternative view in relation to a counterpoint. They said to provide a counterpoint, which we believe to be an example of.
So we talk. So what they call it?
Abnormal.
What they call it? Come on, man.
Successive
Score some goals. Hello, Gizmo. How are you doing? I presume you're talking about the football. I hear Scotland's doing well. Somebody was telling me Scotland was doing well. I don't know. I think they were playing Hungary, and I think Hungary might have bet them, but I think they were doing well up into that. So, hot and tight, yeah. It's a bit too warm now. I'm not going to lie to you on that one. It is a bit too warm. I'm not going to lie to you. And I'm pretty tired too. I think it's just the weather that makes people tired. The hot weather.
It is part of a package. The importance of safeguards in relation to this abnormality. And I must say again, I agree with the minority report. The majority report are recommending a special criminal court on a permanent basis, which is saying our courts are inadequate. And I think
that's an understatement. I think the courts, all the judges should be nearly brought into prison.
I think what the other thing that struck me as I went through all of this was there was no action on the Haderman report 22 years ago, which made very, very practical suggestions and also recommended not getting rid of this legislation. No action. 22 years later.
See, what we're waiting for at the moment, the Dáil is supposed to be voting on the immigration pact tonight. But I don't know. Again, they're just trying to probably kick the can down the road, hoping the people won't notice. So the longer they label on for a long time tonight, the better for them, because they don't want people to be paying attention. Because as I say, the majority of phone calls and emails and stuff they've got this week, all the TDs and senators, are about the EU migration pact. So.
You're normalising the abnormal with no grounding evidence whatsoever. Up to now, no publication of the judgments, no explanation for them, continuing on with the DPP making the decision, and so on. Both reports say that especially criminal court circumstances, and both reports using different language, albeit different language. The jury system.
Apologies if my phone goes off too.
And we deviate from jury trials at our peril, and so therefore when we deviate.
Well, see, no, here this is the thing about the Buttersbridge 30 towns at the moment. But technically, how would I put it? Just trying to.
Such as democracy in attempting to do my duty in relation to analysis of something as important as this.
Yeah, I don't know, but yeah, technically we're still a group this year. Next year we're probably going to dissolve the group because there's a lack of interest, etc., with the 30 towns, etc. here, and there's a lot of work, etc., etc. So just speaking about the 30 towns, it's probably going to be gone next year, I say. I don't think there's anything to stop it from being obliterated next year, if that makes any sense.
advocating for on behalf of.
And it's not even just that. I do probably a video talk about it. Like, it's just a matter of paperwork too. It's unnecessary. Just because I know you asked me, but I don't know the post. She probably knows me, but I wouldn't know her. But I don't think so because nobody really called Jodie in the tiny towns. Like, no, there's not many. All of them are kind of all middle-aged men. I'm the youngest probably of the lot. But yeah, there's too much bureaucracy. Like, you should have seen the amount of documents for the tiny towns competition this year. Like, just not even there's too much documents. It's nearly 50-something pages just to fill out the report to join the tiny towns, like to join the competition this year. Like, it's just far too much for a competition. You know, it's insane. 52 pages is just far too much to join a competition. And you need to put in, you're doing this, you're doing that, you're doing the other. It's just far too much for everybody to be doing.
The county right next to me just shows how real this dissident threat still is in our country.
Like, it is just a lot of bullshit. I'm sure people would agree. 52 pages is just a lot of bullshit for a voluntary group, etc., for a voluntary competition, etc. It's insane. And this is the worst part too, that people have lives and stuff like that, and they don't want to be writing up 52 pages every day of the week. But so that's probably what's going to happen, I say, sooner or later. So we hope to join it this year, but again. Yeah, that's exactly. It's too much red tape. It's not so much the money; it's the getting into it. To fill out what you want to do, what you need to, what you're done. It's just far too much red tape. It's not the money bit. Like we get grants and stuff. Like we got good grants and stuff. We got new planters, etc., etc. There's the money. There is money there, but it's the fact of the matter. There's too much red tape and joining things and stuff. It's far too much red tape. Everything's just red tape. As I say, 52 pages. You have to explain in detail. As I pause Helen because I'm getting sick of listening to her. And in for detail, like you have to put word for word what you do, etc., etc. So, like say this is here. This is a few pages of it. You have to put down, because there's so many different things nowadays. I don't have the teddy town things here, but a long story short, years ago it was all just about rubbish and few flowers, etc., etc. Nowadays, in the teddy, if you look at any report for the teddy, I can actually get it up just to show you what I'm talking about. Because it's something that, as you probably know, I'm passionate about and stuff like that. And it's sad to see we probably will have to let it go next year. It is a sad thing to see, but we've done our best, I suppose, with it. The entry form is just enormous, just to say. Give me a second, so I'm just trying to find out the thing. Just trying to find the thing so I can explain a bit better to you. They're not talking about the migration pack yet. Sorry, I'm just trying to know because it'd be better for me to show you what I'm talking about, basically, than if that makes any sense to you. So give me 2 seconds because I have to look for it now. I know people be not too bothered they listen to it. Just trying to explain, I suppose. If we look at here for a second, just to see. And I could probably do a whole video talk because it's far too much. It is far too much red tape, not so much the money bit and stuff. Like you're 2,000 for just joining from the government. But long story short, this is the market. So the total markets of the Titans used to be 400 something. So every year is going up. So this is our report from last year. As you see, the total amount of points you can get is 555. So we only nearly got, which is very good for a committee that only has about 10 people. And as you see, years ago, the only thing that was on was tidiness and litter control. And that was the only thing that really was on it. There was no such thing as Westminster House and natural biodiversity and stuff like that. And especially you see, and then planning and stuff like that. This is the thing too. This is the thing that really is the biggest issue and so much bureaucracy. Like you need to have nearly 52 pages of like in planning stages. I done this, we done that, we planted this here, we done this, photos, this, that. It's just far too much. Like it is just a bit too much, basically, for people, and especially a voluntary group. I wouldn't mind so much if you're the Cavan County Council or something like that. You need to have records on what you're doing, etc., etc. But for a voluntary group that has people like chairpersons and stuff like that that are voluntary people, like the chairperson and the treasurer, etc. So they all have young children. They have young children. They don't have time to to be arsing around doing 50 pages or so. And the same way really with me, because it's just far too much bureaucracy. I've looked at them and it's just far too much. I wouldn't mind maybe 10 pages at most is enough, but not 52. Like 52 on everything. And then it's the same with all this. Like, you have to cover all this in 52 pages, etc., etc. And it's just far too much. Years ago, it was just one thing. Like, years ago, it was only 100 and something pints in the tiny towns back when I originally started. Now, as you see, it's going up. Last year was, the year before that was 400 something. Now it's 550. And every year, it goes up and up and up. And it's far too much to cover. Like tidiness and litter is okay. That's just the basic stuff. Sustainability, etc. etc. All big World Economic Forum words. The natural biodiversity, greenscape, but it's just far too much in it, basically. Like you see here, like the report itself, it's just far too much you need to cover. This is just the report on every town gets. It's just far too much to cover. It says what to do, how to do it, and do all that. It's a bit too much. Like it is just far too. It's a bit too much for small towns. Like it's okay for a big town, maybe you could do it, but even for big towns, it's trouble. Like I know people in Cavan, tiny towns, like in the town there, and it's still too much. Like it's too much red tape, and that's just
services for the service of the year ending on the 31st of the 12th, 2024. Vote number 29. We move now to private members' business.
Immigration back.
And
Yeah, the immigration back. Yeah.
Sorry. May I back some culture? We move to proposed approval by the Dáil of the regulation and a directive of the European Parliament and the Council.
Yeah, this is
on international protection, asylum, and
see, they're doing it now.
When
they're a bit late, but sure.
Was nearing an end on the last day. Deputy.
What do you mean? Which league is? Oh, they're voting on the immigration back.
Deputy Durkin. Deputy.
The tiny towns, like super failure spots, is the tiny towns, but there's just far too much bureaucracy. Years ago, it was a lot better. Nowadays, it's just bullshit. And I hate to say it, but it is just literal bullshit. And it's not even that too. Like you're basically doing the work for the council. Like you basically are doing the work for the council. And to be totally honest, why would you really do that?
The debate that took place in the UK before Brexit.
I could do a whole video on it because there's a lot I have to say about it because I'm very annoyed with it. Especially when we're not going to be in it now.
We're going to make our own solutions to it.
Well, this feeling for thing they gave out.
And all I can say in relation to all of this, Cancora, is this: there are people in this house from time to time who say, that Europe is opposed to our interests and so on and so forth.
And so it is. You can't argue against that.
And the obvious thing that comes to mind is we are in Europe. We live in Europe. We're part of Europe, and that's the way it is. And if anyone wants to change that, they should come forward and say it. And then we could be like our colleagues across the water and ask them beforehand how much they have achieved in pursuing the line that they took and took their cue from Nigel Farage, who has an ongoing interest in these things. And no doubt he will come here at some stage to address those who were similarly inclined. I think that the opt-in, opt-out issue, it's not the best solution. Any situation that's in any way controversial, and this has become controversial.
So they're not doing the vote yet, so it must be probably 7 o'clock or something.
Or not agreeing means you don't have any strength at all. It's because those who will want to opt in will opt in when they want to, and opt out when they want to.
But that's the thing. This is the thing. No, it doesn't say in the Immigration Pact how can a country opt out if it ever did join. Say we join now and we want to opt out next year. Like it doesn't say you can opt out, basically. And our politicians were too cavalier to say anything.
I decided to go in two directions at the same time.
So I don't know. How's the weather? Oh, it's not bad. It's kind of mixed. It's been cloudy. It's been very warm, but it's been very cloudy today.
Of member state countries. And you and I know Cancora, having listened to similar debates over the years, and various constitutional amendments took place in order to ensure that we stayed in general in step with our colleague in Europe, and they, as a result of our input into particular situations, that we would have the benefit of the strength, the cohesiveness,
and the power of the European Union at our backs.
The power of
I think
the
that's
European.
essential.
I don't think it's at our backs. It's at our
And
face
having
with a
listened
gun.
to some of the debate during the European elections, there were lots of occasions when one would have to wonder whether it was the intention maybe that we should sneak away with the European Union and only accept parts that were acceptable to us. We joined the European Union to be part of it, to be part of its cohesiveness and strength, and benefited greatly from it. There's no question about that. And that has the investment that we've had in this country, the power that the economy has achieved in subsequent years is there for all to see. And there are those who say, well, we'll chip away at it little by little, bit by bit, and we'll remove what we don't like as we go along. That's not the way it works.
No, well, it should work
Because
that
in
way.
any union,
Because at the end of the day, if it doesn't, at the end of the day, your country comes first. Fuck the European Union. If something doesn't work for that country, you have every right to say we're not going to fucking implement it.
Prefer to see a single line, even on a controversial issue like immigration. And speaking on that subject, I think it serves us well to say this, that the Irish people in general don't like to hear or see immigrants being treated badly. And that's because of our own history. And that's as it should be. And mind you, many of our ancestors weren't treated all that so well when they went outside the boundaries of this particular state. So it serves us well to keep that in mind. But as well as that, the issues that are seen now to affect the immigration issue are the closest to which one or other nation is. And there are some.
Well, it's fair to say he's going to vote then.
Closer to
He might as well go up the European Union's arse.
Who have decided that they don't want any more people to come live near them. Well, that's fine. I don't think that it is possible for any person to say to those around them that, well, I am here now, and I've decided I'm going to be the only one here, or I'm going to regulate and dictate who comes to live nearby, or who comes to visit this country.
Excuse me?
I don't think that's the way it works.
What?
Excuse
me, they literally caused anarchy in the witch powder Dublin because two of them came along with heads. Literally, Ivana Batchik literally had a fit when she's in the local park in Ball's Bridge. She literally fucking was fuming at the mouth when she heard the two of them were down in the park and they were moved by lunchtime. Like they literally talk about it, they have a veto. Some people have a veto. The only working class person knows it.
Count Corla, if a jumbo jet with 500 people crashed into the Atlantic Ocean tonight, it would make headline news tomorrow. They all drowned. Last year, the equivalent of 6 jumbo jets full of people drowned in the Mediterranean Sea trying to cross into Europe. These are desperate people getting on coffin ships. We have that in our own history. Under 86,000 people tried to cross the Mediterranean last year.
But this is the thing, I know it's probably off. But at the end of the day, they're still breaking the law. They can't just go to, if they want to go to another country, they go through the proper procedures. They just don't get on a boat and give the money to drug traffickers, etc., human traffickers.
I spent 4 years working in this area.
Like, why would you do that? Like, that's what happened.
There was an issue. Somebody coming at me from one side saying,
because the law is the law at the end of the day.
You should do an awful lot more.
And the World Economic, you see straight away as the World Economic Forum.
You're taking too many in. But these people arrive. They arrive here, and you can see how desperate they are. And so many risk their lives every year. That was just last year. The same happened in other years. So they arrive here. And what are we to do? We're obliged under international law to offer them accommodation and shelter and process their application if they look for asylum. That's what we're obliged to do. And I must say that the officials I dealt with did their very, very best. But because of the state of our world, they keep on coming. When I was there, we were dealing with the conflict in Syria. We forget about Syria. We don't mention too much now, but there are still millions of people.
But this is the thing, like Ireland gives so much, millions and probably billions at this stage in foreign aid to here or there and everywhere.
There's very few people talking about
why do we give foreign aid to people who are just going to come to Europe? That's what I mean to say. Because the reason why countries are giving foreign aid to the Western world is to build up them countries so they have education, hospital systems. So where's all that money that the Irish government are giving in foreign aid? Where is that going to? It's going. Nobody's able to ask.
We would probably have at this stage 30 or 40 million people living in this island. If we had grown at the same rate as our comparable countries.
Like, that's what they want. They want fucking everybody to come to Ireland.
So we also have
These
people
is basically said it.
looking for workers. Employers ringing me up, ringing all this up. I want visas.
Yeah, it wouldn't. I wouldn't pass much marks.
I think last year was 43,000. One of the issues that I was frustrating for me at the time was the fact that Europe didn't have a single policy or a single voice. Now this pact is giving it that.
We do want a single voice.
Common asylum system. They talk about responsibility and solidarity, enhanced border management, efficient asylum procedures, return procedures, crisis preparedness and response, integration and support, tackling irregular migration, monitoring and enforcement, and then implementation.
But again, this is the thing that they don't seem to get through their heads. That a government, one state should be able to do without the European Union dictating to us. You know, it doesn't make any sense why do like they can't get it under their head that a country has its own sovereignty, a country has its own laws, should have its own borders, etc., etc. We don't need the European Union to tell us what to do and how to do it.
You know. And the other side is being criticised for doing too much. I think this pact, which has taken a long time.
Like, you can hear these Fianna Gael and Fianna Fáil people just refuse to listen to anybody.
But until that's going to go on.
Because at the end of the day, what did they propose? Bringing in 40,000 people, 50,000, maybe 60,000 people in every year. We're struggling at the moment with, with that amount of people coming in. So how much would that be if that keeps coming? You know, and they do have proposals how they're going to do it. That's what I'm saying.
Britain had Brexit, it didn't work. Italy put in Prime Minister Maloney, it didn't work. They'll keep on coming. As our people left here when they had to.
But this is the thing about an island, and the same with the United Kingdom. They won't keep coming if you have good border controls. More than I understand, Italy is difficult, but
so we have this in our DNA too.
But this is also the thing. I'm sure if my grandfathers and stuff, when they went for America, etc., they didn't ask the American government as soon as they landed, give me handouts, give me this, give me that. Nobody asked for that. Like, Irish people had to go and walk as soon as they got off that boat, had to go and walk for it. And they were refugees, but nobody cared about them.
But can I say, one of the ironies is that sometimes people say, look, we can't bring people here because we can't treat them well. But very often the people that come here, they come from areas and places that we can only think about in our worst nightmares. And even then, it can't happen. We wouldn't actually imagine how bad things are.
Oh yeah, I agree with that statement, but at the same time, you can't bring in the world and expect to house everybody in the place, and you can't do that because at the same time you're bringing in people my age, young Irish people have to leave the country because they can't afford to live in the country. So where does that end? Basically, that's what I'm trying to say. You can't go on forever. Oh, Leo Franco, oh yeah.
Just at the outset, I want to join with colleagues earlier in expressing my condolences in the passing of Micheál McCarthy and also Tommy Gorman. Very sad day for Ireland to see two such wonderful people pass away, and people who made an enormous contribution to our society in so many different ways. I'll be supporting the EU Migration Pact, supporting it and voting for it tomorrow.
Tomorrow? It's tomorrow.
I really just want to make a few points.
It's tomorrow. I didn't know. I thought it was this evening. It's apparently tomorrow.
Deputy Stanton said.
So they're only talking about it tonight, yes. Interesting. I thought they were voting, so it's tomorrow they're voting on it.
That cause people to
migrate
in a way that is irregular or in some cases
tomorrow. Like it said today on the door record, so I don't know.
We see, for example, the United Kingdom decided to leave the European Union to take control of its borders, decided to introduce in their official policy a hostile environment for migration, made it their official policy to reduce both legal and illegal immigration. What do we see happening so far in the UK this year? Record numbers of people arriving in small boats from continental Europe to the United Kingdom. Why is that happening? Record numbers of asylum seekers arriving across the Mediterranean into Italy, despite the fact that a far-right or radical right government was elected there. Despite the fact that we here in Ireland can no longer provide accommodation for asylum seekers, 2,000 or so now unaccommodated, welfare payments cut back, the regime being tightened and hardened, quite frankly. We see record numbers arriving as well. It's not because Ireland or Britain or Europe or any country is some sort of
oh Jesus, yeah, the United States presidential debate is 2 days time.
our countries. They're being pushed out. They're being pushed out by war.
But this is the thing, the exact thing I say to Leo Franco. Irish people have been pushed out. Young people my age have been pushed out. So we're bringing in people and we're pushing the Irish people out. That's what's happening. Because I can't tell you the amount of people. I need 6 or 7 hands to explain to you how many young people I knew from my communities and stuff that have moved away because they can't afford to live here. When you're bringing in thousands of people, like you see that, and people being forced out that way because they can't afford to own a house, they can't afford to rent a house, they can't afford to buy a fucking car, let them buy a fucking house. Save up me whole.
To allow them to make the journey, and of course, in many cases, they have families back home, wives and children, and elderly relatives that they would like to be able to follow them in a few years' time after they've gained status, got a job, and made some money. And we should know from our own experience, from Irish men going to Scotland as labourers, from Irish people crossing the Atlantic to live in America, that it was exactly a very similar process that we followed. In terms of the EU Migration Pact itself, I think it allows us to do some of the things that we need to do to better secure the outer borders of the European Union. If people can't enter Europe illegally or regularly, it's going to be much harder for them to come here. That's a good thing. Will allow us to work together, 27 states, to combat.
I don't know what sense that makes, but okay.
Those terrible criminal gangs that take money off people to put them in coffin ships and don't care whether they get to Europe or not, as long as they get their money. It allows us to work.
Same with the politicians, pretty much.
People often say to me, when somebody's asylum application has failed, and most do fail, why don't they get sent home? As if it was that easy, as if they could be dropped out of a plane. You can't send somebody home who doesn't have documents.
Yeah.
They need to get a passport from the country.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. They're turning up with no documents. You know, can you not see the problem with that? You not see the problem with that? Because I'm sure if I turned up somewhere, I would need documents. And they're saying, oh, everybody's documented and checked and all that. You know, how did they get into the state if they don't have documents? They should be turned away straight away.
Then Ireland would have going to these countries on our own, saying, can we have a returns agreement with you? The European Union has leverage, big budgets, trade agreements, and we have a much better chance of getting return agreements with countries of origin as part of the European Union. Another reason as well is returns to other parts of Europe. We know that maybe as many as a third of asylum seekers arriving in Ireland have already applied for or have some sort of status in another EU country. There's no requirement for them to take them back. We can ask, but no requirement for that to be the case. The EU Migration Pact can help change that.
I'm sure it can. Fuck us over.
And there's also the possibility, and I think it is something that has to be considered, is the European Union coming.
Yeah, don't let them in. Like he's
countries that people pass through on the way to Europe. They're not from there, but they pass through there on the way to Europe to process their applications there. Rather than here, which is of course a very different approach to
going up the mountains. So
the final thing I would say is that there are 2 big gaps, I think, in the EU.
So it says that if I'm reading this right, that if it voted on tomorrow, the Immigration Pact,
fewer people would come to Europe illegally.
We wait around for a few more minutes. I thought they were voting on it this evening.
For asylum in their home countries, just like
I presume they were, because a lot of people did say it.
Secondly, we need some form of
and it did say the House of the Oireachtas page there would be.
We don't just need people who have qualifications, we need people who've none. And there isn't a proper system for those people to come to Europe legally. Thank you.
I welcome this opportunity. And I've listened to everybody, but I do feel like I feel like we're chaining ourselves to the actual Asylum Migration Pact in a kind of an all or nothing approach. And while there is good things in it, I do fear for the fact that the current system here is broken. We haven't got it right. You can't buy a bee in a box because we don't know what the full pact is going to be and what.
No, well, that's true.
We actually have in our own decision making, and that's where it comes to me that while we have, it's in our gift now at the moment, to get things right here, but we don't want to surrender that right now at present, not to the European Union. And why I say that, I suppose, is while there have been many benefits from the European Union, there's also been, I suppose, the cross between pros and cons. And the cons here, as we've seen with what happened in the Mediterranean, was mentioned here already, We see what happened, the ongoing issues in Palestine, and where the track record is on that. We've seen it with our own fishing industry over the year has been decimated. I mean, we should have a €6-7 billion industry here. Well, Europe can be good.
Well, that's very true. Yeah, we should have the biggest fishing industry in the world, but we didn't sell it away. We give it away. We literally handed it fucking hand and hole to give it to them.
With us stuck in conflicts of war, persecution.
Like we give it to them. We didn't buy it. They didn't buy it off us. We just handed it to them.
Be given the support.
So that's true in saying that. Like basically, Ireland just bends over backwards for fucking the European Union. I'm trying to say.
They're not at the moment. And this is where the lack of communication with communities and even through us as public works.
Totally.
The reactive measures taken by the government, taking up hotels, and again, it's reactive instead of proactive, but it instills the anger in communities and frustrates them. And then you have the adding of the misinformation that comes out. And we've all seen that. But I mean, I also want to make about the fact that the communication that we have at the moment, and this is what I'm on about the procedures and what's not in place. The minute there's a mention of international protection, people, or whatever you want to call them, coming into a community to grab a hotel or whatever it is, the myth goes out that they're all individuals, young military age men, and so on and so forth, which is not true. I think the department needs an awful lot.
Well, the majority of the cases, it does seem to be true, you know, because beforehand they were like it's only women and children, but the majority of the cases you see online it doesn't look like women and children to me. Like as I say, there was somebody from Afghanistan. He left his wife and children in Afghanistan to come over here, and he's the man. He was the former intelligence officer or something in the Afghanistan army, and he left his wife, even though his wife and children are more white to really be here than him. It's insane.
So I think, that's not the fault of those that are seeking asylum here. That's actually the ongoing.
But that's literally what happened. It was just the thing. I can't get over that now. Because if I was a man, I would rather my wife and children get off to a safe country. Like, I don't get that. I don't understand that. There's a lot of things I don't understand about this country.
Whoever enters the country, there's more information.
Yeah, country.
Who's tackling the human trafficking, and who's actually returning asylum seekers where it's appropriate.
Nobody's been returned.
So, I mean, like everything, there's pros and cons, but I'm just very fearful for the fact that we're signing off on a thing that's going to tie this government and the next government and the one after that into something that just may not work. And I think to be realistic here, while everybody has a sympathetic ear and so on and so forth, we have to get our own, I suppose, books in order here first.
And that's I can't believe I'm saying that, but I actually agree. We should get our own books in order before we fucking went to have more books.
But if people break the rules and stuff, it has to be enforced. You know what I mean?
Which again, this is true.
To reserve the right of our own decision-making capacity as a government at the moment, and not dilute it to the European Union as such. And for that, I could not support it. Thank you, that's Cloncorla.
Yeah, please starting.
What we're debating here today is whether Ireland should opt into fully and wholesale the EU migration.
Wholesome.
Position is crystal clear. We should not. It is not in Ireland's interest. Ireland.
That's what I'm saying. Every place has just been told.
Migration rates for a number of years. In 2019, the number of people applying for international protection in this state was less than 5,000. The number last year was over 13,000, nearly tripling it in the space of 4 years. By the end of last month, 107,000 PPS numbers have been issued to the Ukrainian beneficiaries of temporary protection. And how migration is managed, or indeed mismanaged, impacts almost every facet of our economy and our society. The provisions of our public services, our social cohesion, the demands on our housing system. And this year, the number of asylum applications is likely to be in the region of 25,000. that it is
25,000.
we would essentially give up on our ability to take
Like
leadership
25,000, just to put it in
response to this
perspective,
is the wrong
it's the whole population of Leitrim
Why would we
and a bit
opt
more.
into an EU
Like a whole
pact that
population of
not
one
allows us
county
to devise
in a year.
ordinary procedures
In one
regarding
year.
sports and accommodation?
And that's not even
These are
counting
asylum
people who are
seekers
directly
become
from Wales.
overwhelmed without getting approval from the EU. A loss of
You think about it, it's probably
restricting the state's ability to act and to respond.
it's probably Cavan and Leitrim
Why
added
would
together.
we pursue a wholesale
Yeah.
adoption of this pact, which would open up us to the possibility of infringement proceedings and fines for issues that can and should be addressed here at home nationally? Why, as a small and neutral country, should we allow the European Union to determine from which conflicts and indeed which countries we should take programme refugees? Again, decisions that we can and should address here nationally. We can create and manage a fair, efficient and enforced migration system without a blanket and indiscriminate opt-in to this EU pact. Our current asylum system and migration system is in crisis. This fact is
Crisis is an understatement.
by the spectre of tents pitched across this city, or the sight of a poor, vulnerable woman taking water from a bucket from the River Liffey to use for her personal use by her tent. As I've said, in the region of 25,000 asylum applications are expected this year. If last year's trends continue, then 62% of them will have their asylum applications refused by the International Protection Office. That's over 15,000 refusals, determinations that they're not entitled to refuge here in this state. Yet those who are refused in the past and those who will be refused in the future wait months, even years to be processed or notified.
I say we'll go for another few
And then
minutes
there
anyway
are
to
genuine questions
7.
as to whether these decisions will ever be enforced.
They're not, I thought they were voting on it tonight, so they're not. Because to be totally honest with you, it's the same bullshit. Sinn Féin just don't care, to be totally honest. They're only pretending the way they care, to be totally honest. They're not genuine kind of giving a fuck. They're just kind of saying it for the sake of saying it, to be totally honest. So they get a few votes.
And that is what people want to see. But the reality
That's the
is
problem.
that decent and compassionate people are questioning the fairness of the system that is currently operating. And is it fair that individuals who are only a few euros above the medical card threshold are denied it and the entitlements that it provides, while certain people on temporary protection beneficiaries gain automatic entitlement to it regardless of their income, regardless of their employment status? These differences, which are being made, are undermining social cohesion. Where housing and accommodation are in such short supply, the government have created a system where some temporary protection applicants have greater access to private rental accommodation, with landlords getting €800 tax-free from the
That's another thing too.
accommodations to beneficiaries of temporary protection, providing more money to them than they would get if they rented out in the private market in many areas across the state. It's built in an incentive for landlords to accept one over the other when the housing need of both are acute. And with nearly 4,000 additional rental homes being provided to beneficiaries of temporary protection so far this year, an additional 1,000 each month, you can see why more and more people are questioning the fairness of this, that this is provided regardless of income, regardless of employment status. And how can this do anything other than create competition, resentment, and inequality where already dysfunctional?
I think I have enough listening. Because I'm getting sick of Sinn Féin listening to them. Should we talk for a few minutes? And I thought the vote would be tonight, but it seems like they're going to have it tomorrow night, as far as I'm aware. That's what's been said, and it seems to be because it seems that they're just going to yap on for a few hours. Basically, not really much action. Not to say, "Oh, we're going to protect Irish sovereignty, etc., etc." No, it's just the same usual bullshit from Sinn Féin. We pretend to care, but we actually don't care. We want to sell ourselves as much as humanly possible to every country in the world. Same with Fianna Fáil, you get sick of listening to them. That's that. But it's going to probably be voted through anyway, regardless if it's later on tonight, probably midnight, probably could do it. Or tomorrow, it's going to get voted, and there's no really up. There's nothing to really stop it, to be honest. Unfortunately. Just going to wham it through. sad reality, but I don't know. But the worst thing about it is, and this is the thing I'm more worried about as opposed to the whole lot of it, is if you opt into it now, take for example the Immigration Pact, it doesn't give it. There's not to say you can opt out again. That's the worrying part of the thing. It's different if we could get into something maybe, and then we see how it works, because we know how it end. But then if you can't opt out, then you're pretty fucked. If that makes any sense, but probably not. Fucking wrong. Sure, look at. I think we might actually leave it there. We'll probably come back. We'll be back tomorrow anyway. And, there'll be a lot more to discuss. The only reason really why I came on tonight, I thought they were going to vote on the EU Migration Pact. And that was the only reason really why I was here tonight. Just to hear what was going to be said before the vote, etc. Obviously, because they're going to go on for a long time saying, oh, we care, but we actually don't care. But, the usual stuff. But yeah, it seems to be tomorrow night, so we'll figure that out what time tomorrow night. But so it seems maybe they'll have it later on. But anyway, is there anything else before we go tonight? Anybody want to ask? Any questions? Not again. Breaking news. You go ahead, yeah, because I have a bigger joke here now. Here, is Erwin only here? Hardly that he is. But let's be fair. I think we all seen this coming. But we all seen this coming. Give me a second. We all kind of seen this coming. Nobody. Oh no, I don't want to hear this one. I don't think. Let me see. Who could have thought it? Who could have thought this would happen? Shock, horror. This is near enough Parliament because I can tell by the buildings because I was here. I vaguely would recognise the place behind them. Yeah. Anybody could have seen this coming. I could have told you this. They could have answered that Greta Thunberg was going to be wise because everywhere she seems to go, she seems to be just. And it's the fact of the matter that when she gets arrested, this is the thing, that she is charged rent, you just can't let go. And now parade in front of the cameras. Like, I'm sure to God if that was somebody being arrested here, the guard would fucked them into the back of the van. And, well, obviously, if you are with the government or something like that, they would use rubber gloves. But if you're protesting against your place being taken over by people coming from Timbuktu, they would basically take in the whole riot squad, etc., etc. But yeah, what a surprise. Who could have thought that? I never could have seen that Greta Thunberg could be arrested for the 95th time today. Like, who could have thought that? How dare you? Just trying to see if there's any news out because kind of saying what she was doing. Yeah, like how did she get here? Like how did she get to Helsinki? Did she walk all the way from Sweden to Helsinki? Nobody's asked these questions. acquitted. Like, is this just the? I don't know if the police mean to arrest those or just for the cameras, basically. It's just insane. Just trying to see is there any news articles about it. It probably will be later on. But in fairness, I think we all seen this coming now. Just trying to see is there any more information. Did she box a cop or what did she do? Hardly doubt she did, but just laugh, I suppose. That's for that. Yeah, like every day. No, but I think we all seen this coming. Like, it must be staged because let's be fair. Everywhere she goes, she gets arrested. And I don't know how you get arrested for just protesting on the side of the street. So it's all just staged for publicity. That's what it is. Because let's be fair, if the police saw arresting, I'm sure they'd be fucking grabbing her by the neck and fucking her into the police car. Or fucking into the fan. Mainly it's fans that have. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. She didn't walk. That's what I'm saying. She either went by a car, which, saved the planet and all that, bus or something like that, trains. She went somewhere. She didn't walk or pedal or bicycle. Let's put it that way. Nobody seemed to ask that question. How did she get there? It'd be different if she went down the road from our house. This is a good while away from where she probably lived. But what do you expect? I think we have to settle this down only because we all kind of knew this. We all said we'd get arrested. Well, not get arrested, but be handed by the police for a minute and then let go. With no charges, etc., etc. Like, it's all just a big false flag, to be totally honest. Just to kind of get attention, because nobody really cares after that. Nobody really gives a shit about it. Like, you got to lift in Eamon Ryan. That's why Eamon Ryan is at the moment. He's giving no lift. He's in Helsinki. Gardaí have podcasts now. Oh my god. The Gardaí actually fucking have podcasts. What kind of bullshit is this? That on God is going to have fucking podcasts. Are they not supposed to be going out and catching criminals instead of fucking doing podcasts? Like, is that what we pay on God is going to do nowadays? Like, I never seen the like of it. Give me a second. I'm just trying to find out is there any footage or anything now so we can laugh at it. Because, you ruined my childhood. It would have been funny if I was there this week. I should have went back just to laugh at it. It would have been funny. I don't know what would have been funny because you probably wouldn't get arrested for doing it. I might be the one being arrested. Yeah, this isn't Helsinki because I said about it at that time. I was lucky. This isn't Helsinki. Yeah, that's the Helsinki police. Yeah, it seems to be the case. Oh, the wet down is the puppy. Do you know what they were probably doing? I probably did actually. Because I see the last time when I was there, do you remember I was there when the protest was happening last, and not this one obviously, but the last one, Extinction Rebellion. Main streets in Helsinki, and as you can see, maybe she was arrested because they did arrest people. The police in Finland don't take much nonsense when it comes to this. But I'm assuming this was planned, and the police probably had the whole roads blocked. But the other protest, when I was there, they didn't plan. They planned to be outside of Parliament, take for example, and then they took off in a whiff. Went up and blocked all the trams. They weren't supposed to be there. They didn't plan to go there. They're doing on purpose to cause annoyance and upset and to hold up people. So I don't know. They probably did plan it because the police knew about it, this one. They didn't really know about the other one. They thought they would only be outside of Parliament. They didn't think they were going to go up and block all the roads in the country. But that's what they did because they were sitting on the ground. Unless she was doing that in some street, then she would have been arrested for that. But maybe. I'm just trying to see if there's any video of it. Like, there probably be big fucking it's funny how the press is always around when this is happening. Yeah, well, it would have been funny me being there, just laughing at it. Even though it's the Democratic right to protest and stuff like that, I'd be still just there laughing, like, what is this? There's no videos, unfortunately. Yeah, nobody really has any sympathy for. Like, this is like, I know this street. I was on the street. This is just down from Parliament, Mannerheim Asam. That's Mannerheim. What they call it? It's Mannerheim Avenue. Just down a bit from Parliament. It's down near Stockman. Yeah, I was near nothing. Yeah, it's happening tomorrow. Yeah, it's a nuisance, but nothing's really going. I don't think anything's going to be sorted. I think it'd take another few months before something's sorted. But it's quite good money they get anyway, pilots and stuff. They get over 300,000 a year or so. Like, it's a lot of money, pilots. It's not just the only grunt, you know. But what's shocker? Greta Thunberg. No, here, just looking at the background of this, actually, just hear me out for a second. I don't know. Again, I'm looking for an article just to see, to actually do, because I see when the protesters that time I was there, they didn't plan to be on the street. They planned to be outside of Parliament. So I presume they told the police they were going to protest down here or whatever. Because if she was on the because these are tram tracks, they're going to be used. The tram be still going anyway. So say she was on that, maybe then she could have been arrested for that. I'm just presuming. I don't know. And she was told to move and wouldn't move. But again, probably just fake because it doesn't seem like they're in much of a hurry. And she doesn't seem to be like if she was being arrested, I'm sure they would have the cuffs on her too. But I suppose what would a small wee lassie do compared to two big hefty policemen, you know, that are armed and stuff like that? You know, what should they going to do against them? But I don't know. That's what I'm presuming because I've just seen the train tracks, like the tram tracks. Yeah, it's like see the people because that's be told she is kind of just young. I suppose they wouldn't be that afraid because they're two big, they're hefty men now. Like look at this, they don't seem like they're gonna. If you've done something wrong with them, they seem like they're gonna put you down with one slap, basically. But I presume they would still put the handcuffs on him. But maybe she wasn't the tram. Maybe that's why. Because again, they went fucking ballistic. The police that time when they went up because they weren't supposed to be up in the street. They're supposed to be just outside Parliament. And they went up and blocked all the tram. The ballistic. They arrested 135 of them or something like that. And they were all charged with stuff and everything. They didn't get off with it. But the police went ballistic. So that's what happened. But yeah, this seems to be pre-planned, you know. Because it seems to be always like, again, if she was over here, say, on the sidewalk, why would the police be bothering her if she's just over there minding her own business? So, either that she was on the tram tracks and wouldn't go if the police told her to move. This is a stage. So either one of the two, which looks like a stage because she doesn't look like I'm sure if anybody was getting arrested, they'd be a bit terrified or a bit annoyed. She looks like she's just happy enough with it. And it's like there's photographers around. There's no video of it, unfortunately, yet. I'm just trying to find out before we go. But I think we all seen this coming. But it does seem to be pretty planned. Unless the only thing is, unless she was on the tram track, it wouldn't move. And that's the only solution. Unless it was, and then the other parts to be staged, because you know, let's be fair. But the majority of people in Finland and Helsinki, because again, going by the people that were talking to about the climate, what they call it, Extinction Rebellion, that's them. Like nobody really cared for the straight. Like there was something that cared, but a lot of people just kind of went around their day-to-day life. Nobody really passed much remarks. There is unfortunately no video. Unfortunately, not yet. No. It would have been funny if I was there, but just to see what was happening, because because I was down in that extinction. I wasn't on the road or anything like that. I was there just observing what was happening. That's what I was. Even though all the stuff before I arrived, the police arrested all of them. So basically, they were off the road by the time I got down on the sidewalk and stuff. Just whoever was left after they arrested the majority of them. So I just kind of observed what was happening, and there was nothing really after I arrived. Nothing really happened. I missed all the chaos beforehand. I suppose probably better off too. But at the end of the day, I don't disagree with people's right to protest, even though I disagree immensely with Greta Thunberg and stuff like that. They still have a democratic right to protest, but they don't have a right they don't have a right to disrupt people's movements, trams, and public transport, etc. They don't have a right to do that, especially on purposely too. It'd be different if they were moving through the village, but if they were moving through cities or something like that at a pace. But the fact the matter just sat in the road and wouldn't move. It's just public disorderment. That's what it is. Like there's quite a crowd. This is from the national broadcaster, and not the national broadcaster. It's independent. It's not T. As you see, it's quite. This is the steps of Parliament. I went up here, so you see this pillar. You go up here, and then that's the private area for people that you get in. Like here's the speaker. I met him. I was talking to him for a few minutes. Speaker of the Parliament, Speaker of the House, you call him too. But yeah, this is pretty much what he said. Pretty much, I agree with. Yeah, like this is the opinion of the majority of people in the House, like even not even people on the right and the left. I don't think blocking traffic has a positive impact on people's attitude towards this. And that's the thing. If people didn't have sympathy before for them, the people certainly, because again, they holding up so much buses and so many trams, etc., and so many people coming off work and wanting to get home after a holiday's work to see their children, etc., etc. Going around blocking streets is not going to help people go to your cause or sympathy for you, basically. Let's put it that way. Like it is true that it's been just hijacked by left people. Like it seems to be true, but I understand. But again, this is the thing I keep saying. I said it to many of the people in Finland too. Maybe here you could argue people would cry about the environment and stuff like that. But I don't know really what you can cry about in Finland. All the buses, all public transport's electric. There's 75% of the country is trees, just forests, trees. It's the cleanest water in the world. It's the cleanest air in the world. It's the most less polluted country in the world. I don't really know what you're really going to cry about, to be told. Even majority of people walk or cycle to places or take public transport. So really, what do you have to cry about? Oh, Aaron Oney, you'll be delighted to know. Or I don't know whether you'd be delighted to know. You'd be very upset to know. Actually, it's very upsetting news. I know you probably have to get the tear box out. They get a bit of toilet paper there or a bit of tissue there because it's very sad news. Sean is here crying. Everybody's crying here. Poor Fiona's been crying out for the last 10 minutes about this. Because what are we going to do? We have to have a fundraiser. It's a tragedy. A young woman out protesting, and the Finnish police come along and to arrest this poor woman. Unfortunately, they forgot to put the cuffs on her, etc., etc. They forgot to do that before the cameras started taking the pictures. But unfortunately, Greta Thunberg, she happened to go into the police car for 5 minutes and was let out down the road, and all was forgiven. The usual carry on. What's this? Why did you delete that message, David? What's the problem? I think you might have misclicked. Did you ban Fiona by mistake? Did you? Just let me know if you did ban her, because you might have banned her. Did you ban him, or did you? You probably did actually. Did you ban her? What did you press? Give me a second. How am I going to sort this now? Did you? Because I just need to know what you pressed. Did you put on timeout or did you put up? Because I don't think there was nothing bad I seen. Yeah, but did you ban or did you put on timeout? What did you do? Just so I can fix here on it. Well, there was nothing too bad to be said. I've seen worse being said. To be totally honest. But give me a moment. I have to try and fix it. This now. Charles was like, "Good evening." About time. Give me a second. Did you hide it from the channel? Just need to know that. Did you hide it? What would it be on? Fuck, I can't remember. Oh, you're back. You were putting time out. I don't mean to do anything. I was just about to see what you banned or what was the. But you can still type and stuff, you know. I think I don't know what he was meant to do. What were you mean? What did you mean to do? What was said is supposed to do. I wasn't paying it. I was too busy talking with Greta Thunberg. That's a great excuse. Talking with Greta Thunberg. Because I wasn't really paying attention to it. But you can still type and all that because I'm at the thing. Oh, you unbanned it, did you? You unbanned it for me. That's okay. Because I'm trying to find it here and I couldn't find it. As long as you can still type, Fiona, that's the main thing. Yeah, but you can still type in. That's the main. I presume so. Yeah, you can still type. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, that's fine. As long as you can type, that's the main thing. Apologies, but I don't know why. I don't know. I presume we just misclicked by mistake. On something. But anyway, Ewan only. Where was it? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, just try and be careful. Try and be careful. Yeah. But that's no. As long as you can type, that's the main thing. That's the main thing. I'm just trying to see is there any more footage of Greta Thunberg. Bum. I'm just trying to see is there any footage of her getting arrested, or just so we can have a laugh at it. Aren't we nice people? How dare you? Or do you have it on the front page news? Where is it? Sorry, give me that. No, there's no video. Doesn't seem to be enough. Dang it. No video. Dang. Oh my god, what have I done here now? Highlighted stuff. Give me a moment, sir. And I'm after highlighting the whole page and trying to get it off now. There we are. But yeah, so who could have seen that coming? Wow. You know, I never seen that coming. That poor Greta Thunberg would be arrested. No. I think we'll leave it there for tonight. So the migration pact, just to update people. It's not been voted on today. There's only discussion about it, so it seems to be tomorrow the migration pact is going to be voted on. So we'd be live tomorrow, obviously, with the usual Wednesday stream. All going well, of course. We're trying not ban more people, but I presume you just misclicked by mistake. So my apologies for that. It can happen easily enough. That's why I never hover over anybody's name with my mouse still, because you could easily just tap off, ban somebody, or remove a comment, and that's why I keep the mouse way over that side, so I don't have to go near it. Because it is quite hard now. I'm not going to lie to you. It is hard to get the menu open, etc., etc. But yeah, so nothing else to say before we go. As I said, poor Greta Thunberg, it's upsetting. But yeah, thank you, everyone, and goodbye.